I'm Red Arimer, and my co-commentary today is going to be the one, the only Frico, and we're off already with the heart piece in Link's house. And one in the sanctuary. And we got a map check. I saw a crystal desert, a red pendant, and eastern. I did not catch what Palpera was. Oh, it was a red crystal.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like a 5-6 crystal because it was red.
Right. So we have a bit of route divergence already. Looks like GFE is setting up for the Houlihan, while Ravis is farming the spot, like the bushes south of the dig spot for bombs, and the other two are checking out Uncle. We have some bombs on Uncle, and the chest contains a heart.
Yeah, this is an interesting start, to say the least. I would have figured somebody would have just immediately went into Kakariko, and it looks like Ravis is on his way, but gonna check the race game first. Now it looks like Weighty Words and Wall Kicks have noped on out, seeing that there were bombs and a piece of heart in the Hyrule Castle escape sequence.
And the treat pool today is just a single rupee, so we're probably not going to see anybody try farming that. And the bush crab holds a single rupee as well.
So yeah, it doesn't look like the plays have been paying off for our runners just yet. GFE is about to get the same bad news that Wall Kicks and Weighty Words did. Somewhat surprising. I thought he had a bomb, but so Kakariko, you fall down into a well, you find a pointy object.
Well, it's a hole in the woods rather.
Oh, that was
right there.
Skull
Yeah,
Woods.
yeah. That was the little thief's hideout in the Lost Woods. And Raid is here with some good game knowledge. Is bombing up that little hut in the bottom left of Kakariko, and there's 4 bombs there to pick up.
Yeah, and those bombs will always be there. The only downside is it does take a little bit of time. So if you have the rupees, you're probably better off buying the bombs. But this could pay off. Who knows?
Oh, but there is a bomb, an 8 bomb drop off of the tree pole. I didn't see which tier it was. I think it was tier 0, but I'm not sure. Well, there's Boots and Blind's hideout. We're gonna go fast.
Yeah, the rest of Blind's hideout was giant swing and the miss.
Well, early on, a 300 rupee stash isn't too bad. The Book of Modora here, however, in the well. Oh, you were right. Okay, Frico, I think we're gonna have to burn you at the stake because there was a sword in the well.
Now, for the record, I had no previous in-game knowledge. I know nothing. So, I did mistake the Skullwood, or the Lost Woods for being the well.
And the Ether Medallion off of the Bottle Vendor. Let's see if that one will come in to play. We might need it for one of the one or both of Misery Mire and Jarrah.
Now, with having a Master Sword so early, does this put Aghanim into play, or do we need to see something like the Lumberjack ledge to see what's hiding over there?
Well, it puts Aghanim into logic in if we find a lamp. At which point Yes, Aghanim is in logic. If we find a cape as well, that might emphasize that. But yeah, and that logic bug that prevented the Master Sword from being counted as progression has been fixed. I think last week or the week before. So the Master Sword does count for Aghanim logic as well as tablets being able to hold progression again.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, because I know that was fixed, but it looks like there was a piece of heart or a full heart on the lumberjack ledge, so doesn't look like we'll need Aghanim directly for access there.
Yeah, at least that item is not required. That's good. Although, if we do have to do Aghanim at which one we already found a boots, so it wouldn't be much of out of the way pickup. That said, Moon Pearl and a hammer or a glove, and the second glove, or no, the Moon Pearl, a glove, and either the hammer or a second glove. Sorry, I fumbled myself there. Is what we need for Dark Relaxes, and we haven't found either of these pieces yet. There's still a few checks to make, but
Oh, Mini Moldorm Cave seems to be a good check, and Ravis and Wallkick agree.
Yeah, that's 5 items. You got a bottle there. That's one of the fetch quests. Checked off as well.
Oh, but that's unfortunate though with the bottle, because that just tells you to go back to where you were and visit the sick kid.
Question in chat: does the pad still require a Master Sword? No. You just need 3 pendants. Since in the vanilla game you would technically, well, not technically, you would get the Master Sword off of the pedestal. So
it's the tablets, the Ether and Bombos tablet, that would require the Master Sword.
Mm-hmm. And we have a Lagmarang here in the Ice Rock Cave. Let's see if any of the runners decide to fake flipper here. Meanwhile, GFE is going to go for the escape here.
Yeah, it looks like the fake flipper is exactly what Wallkicks is trying for. What he's going to do is, without the flippers, try to put himself in a spot where he can jump into the water and then immediately screen transition before it realizes, hey, wait, you don't have flippers, get out.
Oh, there's one of the pieces we need for Dark Relaxes here in the front of Escape. The first chest contains the Power Glove. And Ravis is also checking the fake flipper checks, but does the water walk instead. Finds the blue mail here in the waterfall cave.
Looks like he's headed over to the hobo. Ravis is, I guess, not able to access Zora presently. Definitely has the money for it.
Who had blue mail, not the waterfall cave. My bad. But Bombos on Zora. That might come into play. Bombos does not only possibly allow us to open up Maya or Turtle Rock, but it also can be used for Ice Palace if we don't find the Fire Order.
Yeah, that looks like an unfortunate oversight for Ravis, as it looks like he might be headed back over to Zora now.
And meanwhile, GFE in Zelda's cell found the cave, which means that if we find a land somewhere, Aghanim is in full logic.
So time to put my cheerleader outfit on and start cheering for that lamp to show up sooner rather than later, I think.
It looks like GP is going through the dark section of the escape, the dark cross area. Has not found the key, which means that the key is definitely going to be in the back of escape. Which, with the power glove, we can check now.
Looks like Weighty Words is in Agina's cave. Somewhat out of the way check in the Desert Palace area.
I think maybe he plans on... oh, there's the fire rod. I think that maybe Whitey is trying to go into Desert Palace earlier on. Now with the fire rod, Weighty Words can full clear Desert Palace, which is a crystal, of course. So that's 2 items and a crystal off the board.
Yeah, that's actually a... It was an out-of-the-way check, as it were, but it ends up paying off greatly for Weighty Words.
Oh yeah, that's right. Chat pointing out we need a glove. You're right. I forgot that Weighty has not picked those up yet. That's true. But I think that Weighty is just gonna do the front of Desert Palace here, and it is 2 item locations that potentially are there. At least 1 item guaranteed, if the other one is on Lamolas.
Well, that's the big key for Weighty Words in that middle room. We'll see what's on the torch, and that's a key.
Yeah, that's a small key. And some errors require bomb. Yeah, that's a very useful hint there, game.
Well, it could mean that Pyramid Fairy has arrows?
No, it could not, in fact. The Pyramid Fairy has her own hint, which is a big red bomb. The behind bombs hint does not include that. That one is like the bomb wall here on Agina, which of course is not what the hint was hinting at, but stuff like the bomb wall in Blind's Hut, or the first chest in Swamp Palace, stuff like that.
Ah, okay. So that hint is... Ooh.
Is trash.
Not exactly the most useful.
And Weighty Words found the Moon Pearl here in Desert Palace. The other item is held while on Molas. And we're probably going to see GFE get that one, because GFE is walking in with the fire rod and the gloves and the boots.
So unlike Weighty Words, GFE will be able to full clear Desert Palace.
But I just saw Eastern Palace holds not only the bow, but also the second glove upgrade. Ravis has not been to the front of Escape, but picked up a glove here in Eastern Palace.
Well, it looks like Weighty Words is about to pick up what's in the back of Sahasrala's hut here, and a lot of money. Now, who was it that saw that hint on the runner's side of things?
Which hint?
The one about Eastern Palace. So
no, there was no hint. Ravis is in Eastern Palace right now and picked up the bow there and the 1 power glove.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hiding things in plain sight on me. You're not allowed to do that.
Sadly, I did miss what the hint of Eastern Palace was, but I'm sure that Weighty Words will check that hint for us in a bit. Apparently, go ahead.
That's what I get for trying to watch only 2 of the runners instead of all 4, because I'm trying to watch Weighty Words and GFE 12 more than Wall Kicks and Ravis. So something happens up there, likely to miss it. Not that I'm playing favorites, it's just, easier for me to focus on 2 than 4.
Hmm. Right. That said, Waywards gets their bow, and it looks like Ravis did not make it through the dark room there. The first dark room is kind of easy, the one with the small key, but the second one with the Igor is a bit tricky because you have to hit the Igor and to get the key out of it, and lining that one up can be a bit tough. And it looks like Waywards is not inclined to clear the rest of Eastern Palace. Thinks, I got the bow and the glove out of this? Yeah, I'm gonna bail.
I guess no reason in actually finishing up Eastern Palace?
Well, at least not for now. But we are going to see the Lamolas fight here on the GFE side in just a second, and Wallcake's also like just a minute or so behind. And apparently, chat is pointing out that the hint in Eastern Palace was that the mirror was in Ganon's tower, which means that Swamp Palace definitely is not going to be required. Or at least, not required to get into Ganon's tower. So that means it's a pendant, and there's probably not going to be any progression in Swamp Palace. Clean fight here of GFE for the Lamolas, gets a vanilla heart container and first crystal of this rescreen.
Yeah, pretty quick crystal. About 16 and a half minutes in. So we're off to a pretty good start here.
And Wallcake's. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna just recap that Weighty Words was into Hyrule Castle as Wallkicks was finishing off the Landmolas, claiming their first crystal. Ravis is now finishing up their checks in Hyrule Castle as well. So at this point, are they entertaining the idea of scaling Hyrule Castle? Ravis and Weighty Words?
Ravis has yet to find the Titansmiths in this first chest here in the front of the gate. Weighty Words just found the Titansmiths. So they will probably first go for the Village of Outcasts rather than consider Aghanim in play just yet. Especially since we also still are missing the lamp. And as Chet points out, without lamp, August Tower is not very fun. And of course, also still out of logic, so always a better thing to do than Aghanim currently. Just gotta hold on that Village of Outcasts doesn't hold any progression for us today.
Well, it looks like GFE is setting up a water walk here. So that looks like a hobo check in the near future for GFE and probably heading up to Zora as well.
Yeah, the only way that Aghanim would be definitely required is if the hammer and the flippers are behind the eastern side of Dark World. And because we can't get there. We can only get to the Village of Outcasts area and like the southern the South Shore, dark South Shore area.
Well, we
And-
already know that Swamp Palace is all but useless at this
Yeah.
point.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably, well, by my powers of deduction there, a pendant of some kind, probably red.
Oh, looks like we got a quick dark world check because I'm seeing a green pendant on Ice Palace and another pendant on Swamp Palace, as expected. Oh,
Well,
no, somebody
talked to Sahasrahla.
Yeah. You're right. Somebody talked
along with the hint that we know Swamp Palace being a pendant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
So because the second 5-6 crystal is not marked.
You're right. Yeah. Well, we're gonna see what that second 5-6 crystal is in just a second here on Weighty Word's screen, and it is Misery Mire.
All right, so Ravis going into Desert Palace has what they need to pick up their first crystal. Weighty Words looks like Skull Woods is going to be their first crystal.
Yeah. We do have the Fire Rod. I think all runners have the Fire Rod, so we can clear Skull Woods. Seems logical to just blaze through it right now. Hey, blaze with the Fire Rod.
I see what you did there. Well played.
And there's our first item, Skull Woods, which is a heart piece.
Yeah, Ravis picking up the Moon Pearl through spelunking into Desert Palace.
And one of our trackers here, Linkfers, pointing rightfully out that since we don't have the mirror until we get to GT, we need the hookshot We need the hookshot to get there, and that means that the hookshot cannot be behind mirror, which means the hookshot also can't be in swamp. So I don't think there's a single scenario where the hookshot, where Swamp Palace is going to be required. Sorry, because we know where the mirror is, and that one is hookshot locked, so it can't be the hookshot.
Well, I think with the location of the mirror as well, that cuts off any possible pedestal.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that can be on pedestal or in Swamp Palace or whatnot is like non-essential upgrades that might make things easier, like still the arrows or another sword upgrade and stuff like that.
Well, it could always have the standard fare of like a piece of heart or a 300 rupee drop, which would be equally as exciting as the aforementioned items by you on the pedestal, but definitely nothing that would make anybody even consider going for it.
Yeah, which means that for all intents and purposes, we definitely are not going to see a pedestal. That said, what we might see still is Aghanim, because we're still not out of the woodworks on that one. Speaking of woodworks, Weighty Words takes down Mothula to get the Skullwoods crystal. And just a hard container? That's, I think, the second vanilla hard container we got, so interesting.
Well, I see something different. Exploding Cats subscribing with a tier 1 sub. So thank you, Exploding Cats, for the support. Looks like Wall Kicks is about to make fairly quick work of Mothula here.
Yeah, got a very good pattern of like Mothula for both Waiting Words and Wall Kicks has been very cooperative in this scene. It looks like the fetch quest we got, the sick hit, just a hard container.
Could be worse, but it looks like Wall Kicks is counted their items and heading back in right quick to pick up the final chest.
Yeah, Wall Kicks went straight for the back and did not pick up the heart piece in the front part. So, still looking for that second.
Well, unfortunately, it's going to be not a rewarding search. We see 50 rupees in the chest game for weighty words headed into the village of outcasts. I think Thieves Town would be in the near future for weighty words.
Yeah, Thieves Town is probably weighty words will make these checks here. We'll probably dip into Thieves Town, and we might also see a bumper cave check very shortly. But first, we see the dig game.
And I guess we'll see what happens here with the dig game. So let's get those fingers and toes ready to us. Oh, that was quick. 3 digs. Nice little bottle. Didn't even have to take my socks off for that one. I like it.
Yeah. Red potion also very useful. Let's see what Stumpy has for us today as well. While the other... Oh, there is the lamp. Hi. So that means that Aghanim is in full logic now. Yipes. But that also opens up Death Mountain. At least the Spectacle Rock inside and the Old Man. So that's 2 checks we can make.
Now, what would we even need Aghanim for at this point, though? That's you know,
Eastern Dark World without the hammer or the hook. No, not the flippers. Without the hammer or the flippers, we can't get to the eastern side of the pot area.
Okay, so that means Tower of Hera, Turtle Rock. How would we wouldn't have access to these dungeons?
Yeah. Without the hookshot, we can't get to the eastern side of this mountain, which we would need to get to Turtle Rock or Tower of Hera. We need hookshot and hammer for Hera even, and Turtle Rock as well, actually, because we do need to open up that portal. We can't get to the pot area because we can't get across the river because the bridge is broken, and we need the hammer to either get the pegs across that one bridge or the hookshot to get across the gap in no, not the hookshot. Hookshot's from the other side. The flippers to get across the river. So that is out of the play as well. And of course, without flippers or mirror, we can't get into Ice Palace or Swamp Palace respectively either, at least not logically. So Aghanim is actually very much on the cards right now.
Yeah, while we were trying to figure that out, Wallkick's finding a tempered sword in Thieves Town.
Meanwhile, Ravis and GFE, within a second or so of each other, picking up the Skullwood's crystal. And there is a shovel on top of Spectacle Rock, which does mean that the dig spot is not going to hold anything for us because we do need to get that with the mirror. We can't get it anywhere else. So that's one spot we can cross off.
Yeah, I think Pyre Late in the chat has it right. The shuffle's worthless at this point. Cost you way more time than it would need to go get it.
And yeah, Mimic Cave. I mean, we knew that Mimic Cave wasn't gonna hold any progression because it also requires a mirror. But good to know that it's not gonna hold like anything particularly useful, like the silver arrows or something. And the bumper ledge just a pack of bombs. Yeah, with that hint in Eastern Palace that the mirror is in Gigantus Tower, a lot of locations are like one-off locations that are annoying to get to are just straight out of the way because they can't hold progression.
Unless there's not a possibility that they would want you to go into Ganon's tower to get something. I mean, no, that's not even possible. You already have the boots.
Yeah, there is no item that we require that can be got in Ganon's tower. Like we need the hammer and the hook shot to even get there, and the flute we need to get to Mire for the crystal, and as well as the King of Samaria, and the ice sword we need for Treble Rock, and that's pretty much our go mode items already as well. There is only like the only thing that we're missing is like some convenience maybe, but
so. Basically, the quality of life upgrades, like the silver arrows, for example.
Yeah, silver arrows, mail upgrades. Mirror is convenient as well. But
we're not going to get the mirror, though, until we're already inside Ganon's tower, and we know this, unfortunately.
We do know that. Although that hint in Keystone also was very useful. Thank you, game. The moon telling us where the moon pearl is in the Dark World dungeon. Apparently, they want to like overhaul the hint system a bit for the next version. Let's hope that hints like that are not gonna happen again. And we're on to blinds.
Well, it's always good to know, like in Zelda 2, the raft is on the Western continent. When you're in the Eastern continent and already got the raft.
And we also found earlier, Bravis is going to pick it up momentarily, the Quake medallion in the Hide Cave. So medallions all crossed off.
Yeah, so we won't have to worry about a medallion being locked away in a far-off location. Now, this is actually an interesting interaction. Ravis saving and quitting and has Jeremiah the Bullfrog with him, but he's transformed back into his blacksmith form going into the light world.
Yeah, we thought of mirror. We sadly can't just mirror over in front of the ruined house and deliver him. So we're gonna have to carry him.
Just be interesting to see what ends up coming of the Jeremiah World Tour, as some of us like to refer to it. So we'll see what Ravis gets for delivering the blacksmith back. That's a pretty good item. I would say that's pretty useful to deliver the blacksmith there. Ooh.
Yeah, okay. that means we have full Dark World access except for the east part of the mountain. We still need to hookshot for that. But yeah, that's pretty good. That is, as Chat also rightly pointing out, Aghanim is dead. We do not need him anymore.
Oh, I think he was on life support for a good long time before we ever even knew where the hammer was. But, you know, just kind of waiting for one of the hookshot or the hammer to show up, and that would have been it. Although chat brings up an interesting question, and I'm not entirely sure of the answer. Would we still potentially need Aghanim for the hookshot?
No. We can... we know that the Lumberjack Cave has only a heart piece, and there is no location that Aghanim would open up, the Aghanim portal would open up that we can't get to now that we have the hammer.
Alright, so just to do a little recap here while we have a little bit of a break. We have GFE, wall kicks, and weighty words. Excuse me, Ravis. No, oh. Wall kicks and GFE are a little bit ahead crystal-wise on 3 crystals. Ravis probably about to pick up a third, as is weighty words working on their 3rd crystal, making a catfish check and finding a blue cane.
Not the most useful item, but can come in handy. And I imagine that Weighty Word's probably going to check the pyramid and then go straight into pod. Has the land, has the hammer, has the bow. We got everything we need to clear that dungeon out without any trouble. And what does the pyramid have for us today? That looks useful. It is a cane of Samaria. That is very useful. Man, those are like just straight up adjacent canes.
So that will be a significant advantage for weighty words having the canes right now. Although I think it won't be too much of an ask for the runners to head over to the pyramid. They may be a little hesitant to pick up the blue cane from the catfish.
Yeah. Also, I just realized Weighty Words does not have the hammer, so they must have fake flippered over to cross the river. So what they're doing is now a lot of logic.
Yes, he did. Weighty Words did fake flipper. He jumped into the water walked across to a platform, and took the platform out of the water.
Well, that means that we will see most of Pod, but not all of it. We won't see Helmasaur on Waywards.
Couldn't he boop Helmasaur's nose with the sword? Or is there something that would stop him from getting to Helmasaur?
There are hammer packs in one of the rooms, and that's like those surround the stairs down. The first dark room, like in the basement, is hammer packs, and the turtles as well. You have to flip them over. Technically, right. you don't need the hammer for Helmasaur King himself, because you can break that shell with like a couple bombs. But we do need the to hammer it on the packs. So
so this is going to be unfortunate for finding the hookshot, not unfortunate. Not being able to finish Palace of Darkness on the other hand, for weighty words, this is going to be a little bit of a double dip, because he'll need to end up doing the blacksmith, and it looks like weighty words is done, and he's going to death warp.
Yeah, weighty words has cleared like this side of pod. Can take the shortcut through the hammer pack, so it has to death warp and get back to the entrance. And we'll do the main part now. And that will also bring weighty words away from getting a hammer. Like, has kind of isolated the smith chain here.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for weighty words, but I mean, what would he really be able to do aside from let's see, Swamp Palace won't do him any good.
You can't even get to Swamp Palace.
I think he was already in Eastern Palace. If he wasn't, we won't find anything really there.
Yeah, I think the hookshot will lead into Death Mountain, both the Light and Dark Death Mountain, except for Palterra first, because we can't access that without a hammer. Okay,
so Turtle Rock and Tower of Hera are still off the menu for weighty words, because you wouldn't be able to access those.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Weighty words, just bad luck, I guess, with the routing this time around. Oh, there it is, the Ognum Killer, Ravis finding the Swagnet.
And that's the last item here for weighty words out of pod. So, except for hookshot and whatever Helmosaur is holding, not too much. We're still on the lookout for the Ice Rod and the Flute.
Yeah, but unfortunately for weighty words, GFE and Wall Kicks, I believe, are in Palace of Darkness right now and have everything they need to be able to finish this off, because they have the benefit of having found the hammer. So it looks like Ravis picking up the red cane.
Let's see what Death Mountain is holding for us today. We can check everything that isn't part of Dungeons of Palterra, on the side of Palterra. So no ether tablet either for us today. At least not for now.
Well, the problem is the only thing weighty words could really find that could be of value. Well, we have Fisher Price, my first shield.
Yeah, a little plastic board. We still, of course, can see Spiral Cave as well as Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave.
But what could that get him? Ice Rod? We know it can't be the hammer.
Yeah, Ice Rod or Flute are still the two items we're looking for, and those can be, well, essentially anywhere that isn't Meyer or Tronics.
We are not in no mode yet. We are missing at least the Ice Rod. The Flute, I would quantify as a quality of life item.
I know we definitely need the Flute. We have no other way to get into the Misery Mire area. That is absolutely required. Since Misery Mire is a crystal.
So we do need the Flute, 100%. We need the Ice Rod, 100%. So somebody send out search and rescue, and hopefully we can find those pretty quickly.
And there's the flute in Super Bunny Cave. So that's one item crossed off. That might still lead Weighty Words further away from the hammer, because that opens up Meyer. And we're going to see what the Turtle Rock Medallion is today. Quake. Well, then it matters because we found all 3 medallions already, but...
Well, still good to know. You can equip it a little bit beforehand, but Weighty Words into Hookshot Cave here. Having a little bit of a issue with trying to navigate the hookshot, but...
Yeah, that Barre was just trolling him. And Hookshot Cave is empty, so other than Flute, that mountain is a bust. That means the Ice Rod can be basically anywhere. We know it can't be in Swamp Palace, because we can't access that. And that's pretty much... And we know it can't be on Trinix, because you need to defeat him. And it can't be in Genesaur. So, that it can be literally anywhere else.
Well, here we go with Helmastor. Wall Kicks getting there a little bit before GFE, putting that hammer to good use. Ooh, not even bothering to switch to the bow. Wall Kicks just slapping Helmasaur King with the Tempered Sword a couple times, and that'll do it.
Yeah. The bow, without the silver arrows, the bow takes, I think, it's 8 shots to take down Helmasaur.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Much easier with the Tempered Sword.
Yeah. And we're gonna see what the Mire Shed holds for us today. Sadly, Weighty Words did not tie the hammers... I was gonna say hammersmiths. I mean, they are in this game. The blacksmiths into the flute activation. Let's see what the... Oh, forgets that you don't have the mirror, Weighty.
Oh, nope. Sorry, no checkerboard cave. Yeah, that's not gonna... Oops.
And a Quake also for Meyer.
So Weighty Words is gonna, I guess, do what he can here, and right now that's Misery Meyer.
Yeah.
Wall Kicks finding a old man's cane hiding on the ledge of the pyramid.
It looks like Wall Kicks is also going to get the other cane for both legs, one for each. Yeah, once Chat pointing out, once Weighty Words clears out Meyer, even if Weighty Words finds the ice right here, it doesn't really matter, because without the hammer we can't proceed, so we'll be running out of checks eventually. The hammer locks away so many things.
Well, Weighty Words already fake flippered a bunch, and that's what got him into Palace of Darkness originally without the hammer.
We won't find the mirror here because the mirror is in Genesaur. We gotta hit for that. Which is why we know that all of the mirror lock checks are busts. And we also know that Swamp Palace is absolutely not going to be reclaimed. But yeah, finding flippers would actually be pretty bad, because that would lead us to Ice Palace.
Well, it wouldn't be super bad. I mean, Ice Palace could be holding the Ice Rod. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but would it make sense logically at that point?
I mean, yeah, the Ice Rod can, of course, be in... if we find the flippers somewhere here, the Ice Rod definitely could be in Ice Palace. And if that is the case, then Weighty Words definitely has a good advantage.
I mean, I'm really just trying to... figure out, alright, we need the Ice Rod. I mean, we know where the hammer is. Unfortunately, Weighty Words didn't get the memo. The Ice Rod's really the outlier item here.
Yeah.
Now, with Wall Kicks and GFE headed over to the eastern side of Death Mountain, they can take advantage of Turtle Rock and Tower of Hera once they finish their checks, correct?
Yeah, that's true. GFE and Wall Kicks, and Ravis as well is on the way there, I think, will be able to not only pick up the flute out of Super Bunny Cave, but they also have the hammer that they need to get into Tower of Hera. I'm not sure they're willing to dip Turtle Rock just yet, because they are missing the Ice Rod, and of course there's so many more crystal dungeons they can do. Well, so many more. There's 2 crystal dungeons they still can do once they find the flute. So, not super appealing, I would say.
Well, I would figure you at least open Turtle Rock on the way through.
Oh yeah, opening for sure. I maybe even pick up the hint that's in that first room. I can see any of the 3 runners here doing that. And since chat is asking, the Meyer Vicky was in the compass chest on the left side. So the spiky room with the Saltos guy. Oh yeah, we also get to see the Ether tablet. That's true. We haven't seen that on Weighty Words' side earlier, because Weighty Words, of course, without the hammer, couldn't access that part of that. Just some arrows, though.
Yeah, not the arrows we were looking for, unfortunately. The silver arrows still at large.
Yeah, and the silver arrows can be literally anywhere. So some nice spooky action here off of Weighty Words. We're gonna get into Vitreous with the NMG strats here. Sword spins. Has luckily a red potion stored up still.
Well, we knew he had that red potion for a while, but
yeah. So
here we go. Turbo mode arrowing Vitreous here.
Meanwhile, we find the first item here in Tower of Hera, which is Big 20, but there's still one more item to go here, and also a very useful hint that a unique item is behind a bomb. That could have been a number of items. It could have been the boots. It could have been it's probably the boots hint, but could have been the hint for the fire rod as well.
Wow. Vitreous had the Ice Rod.
Oh, that puts Weighty in a very good position here. And we find out that Moldrum either has a small key for the basement or the second item.
Oh, now will Weighty Words deliver the Smith now?
I think Weighty Words is going to deliver the Smith, because there's really not much else they can do.
Because he is a Smith He's a blacksmith away from go mode now at this point.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Super fortunate turn of events here for Weighty Words with Vitreous giving the ice rod. So
Yeah, and
that's...
luckily skipping the backside of Pod is not that much of a time loss. Like, we're gonna have to get through the hedge maze, but not too bad. Could have been worse. And another big 20 off of Mulworm. Why, thank you. At least we can skip the basement. So that's good.
Yeah, so here we go. Weighty Words is a couple moments away from go mode. And that will turn this race upside down, at least for our restreamed runners, where I thought Weighty Words could be very behind with not checking the Smith. At 55 and a half minutes in, we have go mode already.
Yeah, pretty fast seed.
So it looks like the first stop on the Hylian World Tour for Weighty Words is going to be Desert Palace. Going to finish that off.
Yeah, Weighty Words was the first runner to be into Desert Palace, but missed one of the glove upgrades, so couldn't go into the back. But we can just run around here. Since Weighty Words already cleared both Pod and Desert, they can just make a beeline for the boss, basically.
So Wall Kicks, at least for the time being, is provisionally in the lead with 5 crystals along with GFE 12, but now we have ourselves a bit of a race as Weighty Words is the only one that's in go mode.
Yeah.
So it'll be a matter of how quickly Weighty Words can catch back up, being he will not have to search for any more items aside from maybe casually finding the silver arrows along the way.
Yeah. That's also actually a good point. Weighty Words will not have to bother opening up chests in South Hera, which, is not too bad, but is a bit of a time loss. And obviously knows, being in go mode, will definitely not have to double dip Triple Rock. Maybe one of the runners will think, Ash's probably going to be in Triple Rock, and gamble on that.
Well, unfortunately for GFV 12, not much is going to be found in the Hookshot Cave, although he will pick up 2 hearts on the life bar for his troubles, completing a full heart from collecting the 4th section.
Lamol's hit the Sanctuary heart actually, not just the regular heart container. So not quite vanilla.
And GFE finding the flute. So here we go. Weighty Words on the comeback trail. That's crystal number 3. Looks like Palace of Darkness is going to be crystal number 4. And this should be fairly quick.
And we learned that some cash is in left side swamp.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
All the rupees. All of them.
If you feel strapped for cash by the time you get into Gannet's Tower and find a mirror, you know where to look. Oh, it looks like GFE is indeed dipping into Tel Rock first.
Oh no. Now, since we know a little bit more than what GFE knows right now, this is going to be almost entirely a waste of time, because he may have to do this whole section all over again, coming through after picking up the ice rod.
Yeah, depending on how far GP is gonna go, and GP is probably gonna go up until Lizard. It looks like Volkix also decided to dip into Turtle Rock first. Thinks that, there's 2 items in Misery Mire, even though it's required, and there's 5 items in Turtle Rock. So item density-wise, they're thinking likelihood of the Ice Sword being in Turtle Rock is probably higher.
Well, they're wrong. Unfortunately for them, because we know it is a 100% chance through Weighty Words finishing Misery Mire and picking up the Ice Rod.
Yeah.
So this is just an unfortunate side effect of the randomizer and the information that you have available to you, trying to make the most informed, best decision you can.
And Ravis is going to activate their flute. I think that means that Ravis is not going to dip into Turtle Rock, which is good for them. They will go straight to Mire and be able to not have to double dip to Rock. Of course, also Weighty Words has then also has like the only one climb to do, because can do Turtle Rock, Top Hair, and Gennis Star in one stroke.
Yeah, but he'll have to route thing. I guess it's not that big of a deal to go into Turtle Rock, then go over to Tower of Hera, because you won't be able to mirror over to Ganon's Tower, because, well, the mirror's in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, what Weighty Words is likely going to do is climb up the light side Death Mountain, do Tower of Hera, then walk over to the Tiara portal, do Turtle Rock, and then do Ganon's Tower.
Ah, yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. So now it looks like the race is on for Ravis and Weighty Words here to see if Ravis can get through Misery Mire quicker than Weighty Words can head through Tower of Hera. They'll both have Turtle Rock in common.
Yeah, I would say Weighty Words has the advantage here, because Top Hera is a lot shorter, especially since Weighty Words can just go mode Top Hera, will pick up the big key and not even bother opening up chests. And meanwhile, Ravis will have to try and find the Ice Rod, so Ravis will full clear Misery Mire. Plus, of course, Ravis also will then have to climb Death Mountain again, while Weighty Words already is up there.
Yeah, that's very true. So I guess the question is, how much of an advantage did Weighty Words get with this kind of last to first Misery Mire 200 IQ god play here?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I was like the entire time was, man, I hope Weighty Words is gonna pick up the hammer soon, but it really turned out well for them. Even though they had to double dip both Desert and Palace of Darkness, it's still, it was routed very incidentally well.
Definitely beats having to, double dip and basically full clear Turtle Rock like GFE and Wall Kicks are doing right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I had to double dip something, I'd definitely choose Weighty Words' path, if I had a choice.
Yeah, problem is, of course, double dipping Turtle Rock takes a lot of time, because, you don't have to pick up the side path keys, but you still have to go through most of the dungeon, plus, of course, the Death Mountain climb. And there goes Moldrum down here for Weighty Words, bringing them up to 6 crystals. And Ravis still going through Mire, looking for the Ice Rod. not knowing it is indeed on Vitris.
Yeah, so this is definitely the advantage of weighty words being in go mode as opposed to all of our other runners seeking out the ice rod, or restreamed runners, I should say. Oh, and Ravis takes a fall on the disappearing ledge. So it looks like GFE just activating the flute, going to head in to restock on potions, it looks like. Wall Kicks activating their flute as well, so I believe it's time for me to stand at attention and salute while we play the Hylian national anthem.
And weighty words into Treble Rock. We'll just have to find enough keys and can then just make a beeline for Tronics.
So now we see weighty words last to first dreams realized here, because this Turtle Rock will be his last ascension up Death Mountain. Ravis, GFE, and Wall Kicks all at various points of Misery Mire, and they will have to then scale back up Death Mountain and do Turtle Rock as well.
Yeah, that is true. Ravis is going to be in go mode in just a minute, while Wall Kicks and GP both almost simultaneously entering Misery Mire. Yeah, that gamble did not work out for themselves. And Ravis here with Cave Strats on Vitris.
Well, about the only outstanding item that we could potentially need at this point is the silver arrows, but I don't think that will change anything for the path our runners are going to be taking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, all of our runners likely are capable of doing Silver Us again, and also, I was Snicker at Weighted Words' Sprite. The bunny sprite is a cup of ice cream, and that's making me snicker. Because he's playing Vanilla Link, see, and
now it makes sense.
Yeah, and when he picks up the blue mail, he turns into Chocolate Link, and with the red mail, it's Strawberry Link. And Ravis now onto the ascent to Shell Rock.
Oh, I should have kept track of when Weighty Words ended up going into Turtle Rock, so that way we could quantify the advantage that Weighty Words has over the rest of the restreamed field right now.
Yeah, Weighty Words definitely looking good here. We'll probably reach Trinix by the time that Ravis enters the rock, give or take a few seconds. He still needs to find a key here on the laser bridge, which I think was in the third chest.
Now, Weighty Words taking a little pit stop to head off to the laser bridge. I guess needing that key.
Yeah, we went for that key there. So now we are, well, my estimate was reasonably accurate.
Oh, you're not very far off at all.
Yeah. Just the room before the path to Trinix here. There we go. Magic refill. And into Trinix we go for the last crystal here.
Yeah, a little after 1 hour, 10 minutes, Weighty Word starts the Trinex fight. Ooh. The ice head was about to litter about the battlefield.
What's also noteworthy is that Weighty Words has never picked up the blue mail off the hobo because Weighty Words never fake flippered those checks. Or at least that particular one. I think Weighty Words might have done the Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah, he went into Waterfall Ferry and Zora.
Yeah. And down, Trinix goes. 7th crystal. You know what that means, Frico?
Time to go to bed?
Yeah. But before we do that, we do have, for our chat here, the Ganasar Big Game. There are 22 locations that the Big Game Ganasar can be, and we like to guess which of these locations it might be in. So put your numbers into chat. Frico, where do you think it is today?
Well, I have to be wrong every time. I always say 5, and I apologize to Colliard in the chat who also picked 5. We're both wrong. Just telling you right now.
Right. Personally, I like to go with 14 because when you go full left side at the start, that would end up being Bob's chest.
Looks like we're going right side for Weighty Words, so we'll see number 1 and number 2. Arrows and rubies.
Yeah, that's not even a key, so we can't proceed to the right side. Let's see if Weighty Words is going to employ the strat of going to that Stalfos room, and then... Oh no, he can't mirror out. We don't have the mirror unless he finds it. There's a hard container here on Ganon's, on the Ganon's Tower porch. That is item location number 3. Picks it up. It's a nice if you have an extra heart container. Might as well. That higher means we won't see Bob.
The good thing is we do know the mirror is hiding somewhere in Ganon's tower.
Yeah. It could be in here, but it could also be in the big chest or at top of the tower. Might be Moldrum 2's chest that holds it. A lot of keys, but not the big one. And
yeah, unfortunately, 4, 5, and 6, all keys, but not the correct one. 7, a piece of heart.
And let's see what the Firebar room holds for us today. With chest number 8. Another key.
The final key, or is there one more outstanding?
I'm actually not sure.
Because that's 5 keys so far we've found for Ganon's tower. There's number 6. That's the last one.
Right. Yeah, key locked key. 4 chest keys. Thank you, chat. And there's the big key.
Number 9. So let's see, who said it first?
Talwin7 was the first one to guess it right. There were a few, actually, that guessed 9. So congratulations to all of you. Since we're not seeing Argus today, you all get a coupon for Argus's optician. If you need glasses for like your 15 eyes, Argus is the guy to go. And of course, without a mirror, we can't mirror out and go to the entrance. So we have to take the long route. Wadeworks picking up the big chest here for good measure on the way because it might contain the silver arrows or a blue mail for them. Sadly, just a hard piece.
Yeah, Ravis just now heading into the Trinex fight, so it looks like about 4.5 minutes ahead. Weighty Words is against the field here of, well, restreamed runners at least.
Mm. And down goes Trinix here for Ravis. Pick up their 7 crystal, and we'll move over. That said, GFE has caught up a lot to Ravis here. Because when Ravis picked up the Ice Rod from Vitris, GFE was just about entered into Mire. But now it's just the boss fight apart. Oh, that's because GFE didn't need to find a key anymore. That's right. He already full cleared TR.
Yeah, unfortunately for GFE, you know, he had to go through a good section of Turtle Rock still that second time.
Yeah, but did make up a lot of time to Ravis here. Yeah, we still haven't seen that mirror. It might be in Bob's chest, it might be in the Ice Armor's chest. Red Room, or any of the chests here in the upper part of Ganon's Tower. So the 2 chests in that Helmstar room, the refill room before Moldrum 2, Moldrum 2's chest. I think that's all of the chests up here. But we're not onto Moldrum 2 just yet, but rather on Molus 2. And taking down this refight single-handedly. We haven't seen the Armor's Knights at all, since Eastern Palace was a pendant. And I think one runner, I think it was Ravis, tried to go through the Dark Room, but then died and decided not to make the track back. And we also didn't have to fight Ice Armors either. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
Not if you're the Armos Knights choreographer. All that work for nothing. All that time and effort, and you don't even get your time on stage.
Yeah, sadly, no Armos on ice here today. And we are almost done here, climbing the tower on the way towards the side. Let's see if they pick up those chests. Nope. Going straight for the next room. You have enough keys, so we don't need to kill a mini Helmas, but maybe gets bunny beamed here, turn into another cup of ice cream.
Now that's interesting for Weighty Words. He picked up that chest in the middle, but ignored the 2 a couple rooms previous.
I think that Weighty initially thought they had the powder and wanted to powder those, and then like just open the chest and pick up the refill, but it didn't pan out as well as they'd hoped. And a heart piece, but a convenient heart piece here as the last item. Just the 4th heart piece that Weighty Words needed to get the...
Yeah, the free refill, plus an extra heart.
It looks like GFE made their way to the right side after getting the keys in that Stalfos room instead of going further left. Also, he's going to go full right on top of that, which means that GFE is going to take quite a while to find a key. Because except for the random room...
Picking up a 0 on his first question here in the quiz. That's one hit. Oh no, 0-1-0 so far. This looks like a pretty tough... might have caught a double there.
I think that might have been a double, yeah. And yeah, this is quite... I was apparently giving GP the commentator's curse because GP is now making the way to the ice armos. I guess we're gonna see them after all. The GP does not want to mess around with Bob. Lets him run free.
And there we go. An hour and little over 20 minutes in, we have passed our geometry test, and it looks like we're going to see Armos on ice here. So, now I don't feel so bad for the choreographer here.
Yeah.
They get their time in the sun. Their 15 seconds of fame.
But sadly, it is bad for GP. It doesn't even get like silver arrows as some sort of validation for going through this. That said, that with those 3 items of Bob's chest as well, we do know that the mirror only can either be in the mini helmet room or in the random room. So those 6 chests.
Yeah, I don't think we saw the rando room, and also the chests that we pointed out weighty words skipping the 2 in that particular room.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 chests that I believe we don't know what are inside of them.
Yeah, that is correct. Arrows are in the light world. Could have been on Sahasrara. Could have been in the Graveyard Ledge. I think that's the only locations. No, we did see Bomb Rocks. I think those 2 might have been the only locations that we missed. Oh yeah, Dick Spot and Bombos Tablet, that's right. But of course, Weighty Words doesn't need silver arrows. We have the Tempered Sword, Silverless Ganon. Certainly something every runner who wants to be competitive should pick up learning. And is pretty clean about it too. And
there we go.
Pig. Get your GGs into chat, everybody. Witty Words likely not going to struggle with that bridge. And there we go. Witty Words finishes, let's see here, in 5th place. With an official SRL time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 36 seconds. Before that, we had Gem finishing in 1st with 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 50 seconds. So just a few minutes before, like 4 minutes ahead of our first restream finisher here. Zero Rush in 2nd, Pink Kitty Rose in 3rd, and Ilos in 4th place. And we also had Dracaris finishing in 6th, and Salty Fry in 7th. So that's still some time for Ravis to make the top 10. And we had what was it, like 35 or so entrants this race, so pretty good result for sure for Weewards.
Yeah, that was a very solid showing, especially considering how dreadful we thought the start of Weighty Words' run was going to be. And then it all just kind of flipped around. Finding the ice rod on Vitreous. Ravis having a little trouble. This is a bit of a geometry test here.
Yeah, this Aga pattern is kind of obnoxious, I'm not gonna lie. But takes on Aghanim 2, and we're gonna go straight to Ganon. Meanwhile, we have both GP and wall kicks in the gauntlet. Wall kick. Sorry, wall kick's almost done here. Just needs, I think, a couple more rooms here. While GP just went up there, so that track to the right side sadly did not pay off for them.
All right, so Ravis is going to head on into the Ganon fight.
And apparently it turns out that the witch had the fourth sword upgrade. We never found a mushroom, though.
Oh, not on the restream, no. It'll be interesting to see what we learn with possibly runners joining us in the chat on the restream here and letting us know what kind of outlier items that we happen to not see on the stream that they knew the locations of.
I'm not sure if the archer boy is the silvers or the normal arrows. I think it's just an arrow pad, but I'm not 100% certain. Moldum 2 here on wall kicks aside. Meanwhile, we are in the last phase of Ganon on Ravis.
Now, another location that... did we ever see the bat?
The magic bat? Oh yeah, you're right. We never saw the magic bat either, no. We did not find a mushroom or the powder on either of our recent runners' checks. Speaking of checks, by the way, we now definitely know that the mirror was in random room because wall kicks opened up both of those chests in the mini Helmer room at the top of the tower.
Yeah, and we saw all the chests that you could have opened on the way through the big door, the big key door.
Chat pointing out that the archer boy shines again is the silver arrows, which means that, man, that was a chain of items because we would have had to find a mirror in a random room, going to pick up the shovel on Spectacle Rock and then dig up the silver arrows. That said, Ravis has ended the domination of Dr. Wily.
And wall kicks making a pretty good time on the geometry test heading into the Ganon fight. GFE about to start their geometry test.
Indeed, Ravis finishing here in 8th place with a time of 1 hour 27 straight.
Yeah, we have...
And Ravis is also going to join us here in Discord.
Yeah, it looks like Lunchtime ATH finishing in 9th place, 1 hour 27 minutes 28 seconds. And In the Name of DT just finishing as well in 10th place, 1 hour 27 41 seconds.
Indeed, we have Ravis here joining us. GG Ravis.
GG.
That was a bizarre seed, wasn't it?
That was interesting, definitely. Didn't give you too many options since we knew early that the mirror is in B. And with the current layout we had, crystal-wise and pendant-wise, it was a really good chance to not dip into ice and swamp.
Yeah, like a lot of progression for like pendant dungeons was locked off fairly long. We haven't even found the flippers. Like none of the recent racers has seen those.
Probably in GT as well, somewhere big chest or something.
Big chest was a hard piece. We've seen all but Ren Room, and we know that one of those had to be the mirror. We also know that the silver arrows were in the dig spot, and I think you've seen the shovel. So.
No.
Oh, it was on top of Spectacle.
Oh, I didn't even look at it since I knew the mirror would not block anything. And I was thinking about maybe a sword or silvers, yeah, but Well,
I-
I didn't want to waste the render room time.
Yeah.
I can't believe it really had the mirror.
Yeah, the fourth sword was actually Witch, so we never saw the mushroom ladder. So, like, so many like locations is like they're not there. You know, we know there's items there, but we can't get there.
Yeah. I usually would dip TR actually in the first. I think that's the only like moment where people had to decide go Turtle Rock without the ice road or not.
Yeah, you luckily did not. The other two respawn runners that are still on Ganon. Speaking of which, Volkic's just finishing off Ganon here. Both of them dipped Turtle Rock first. But yeah, of course, it was in Misery Mire the entire time, on Vitreous no less.
To be fair, the only reason why I didn't do that is Turtle Rock has max 5 items, since we know Mimic Cave is not in play. But the flute itself was blocking 6 items, 2 in Mire, 2 in Mire Shed, and 2 in the Fat Ferry, so the odds were better to go there.
Yeah. And Volkic's finishing here in, what was it, 13th place with an official SRF of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 14 seconds. And GP also going to be finishing up momentarily here. GG's to both of the runners.
Yeah, GG's to all the runners. Naylene to fill in a couple of the gaps here, finishing in 11th place, 1 hour, 27 minutes, 51 seconds. And it looks like Dragon Strike 1988, our 12th place finisher, 1 hour, 29, 53 seconds.
Indeed, and GV finishing in 14th with 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 51 seconds. So that's our respawn runners. GG's to everybody there. Pretty fast seed though. Like, even though, like, I guess, like, with the hammer being so far in, and the mirror just being not in play at all, there was like a lot of extraneous checks that, you know, people didn't have to do. So very fast seed.
Yeah, and definitely. So this mirror hint was really kind of a mind confuser. You know, when you know you won't have the mirror, you don't like to do this Smith sequence. And I think I did a good choice not doing Thieves Town, so I can do the Smith sequence. And if I do not get the hammer, I do not have many things open. So then I can dip Thieves Town. But once you did that and you're deciding not to take the Smith, it's pretty much isolated. And that's not good at all. Specifically, if you want to wait for hammer packs to use your hammer, you will never see that until you do this.
Right. We have GV also joining us here for a little chat. GG's to you.
Hey, thanks guys. Feels bad easy sub 130 with my GT routing.
Yeah, you were actually it's actually interesting that we have both of you here, because after finishing Jungle Rock, Ravis was a bit ahead, but you caught up a lot to Ravis, who did not dip in Jungle Rock. So you caught up a lot and was like just a few seconds behind him, really. Like, and sadly, like, your routing put you apart from him again. I was getting ready, getting all excited, but sadly, the big key was in the fire snake room, no less, and that's kind of, yeah, not a good room.
Yeah, I normally do the Dark Magician, and when I open my menu and it's like, oh yeah, we don't have the mirror, I'm gonna do it anyway because nobody else is gonna do this.
Yeah.
It did not work out.
Yeah, it sometimes the gamble works out, but sometimes it doesn't. Right. So one thing I wanted to ask you is, since like you found the Master Sword fairly early on, the cape also was pretty early on. Was Aghanim at all in your mind when you were searching for the hammer?
Oh, it was definitely in my mind, but after I turned in the Smith to go back to the Dark World and do the water walk over to East Side, and the pyramid that way. Hammer, I was like, oh,
Yeah. Waiter Words actually just completely followed through on that. Or water walk rather, over to the eastern side, dipped into pod, found a hook shot, and then like just followed that trail until basically last locationing the Smiths. Um, still very respectable 130 for all of our recent runners here. So, or like below 130 even. So very, very, very cool. Right. So I think that we are about to wrap it up here. Unless any of you fellows has anything else to add.
I'll just give you guys a shout out and a thanks and to the trackers and all the speed gaming crew as well. Thank you as always.
Thank you. And right, so of course, thank you to all of the thank you to all of the runners here, both on the restream, the 4 restream runners, as well as the 30-something odd other runners that have not been on a restream. GG's to all of you. And thank you as well to our trackers today, Link for Zero and Phase 9 Alex. Thank you both for your hard work. Without you, we would be completely lost. And actually, thank you for accommodating this race with me, Frico.
Oh, anytime.
Right, so let's have a quick check here.
Yeah, I think we had a couple more finishers while we were talking to the runners on stream, so give them a quick update there, and then think we're about ready to just close it up for the day.
Yeah, don't forget to follow the runners that have been here on the restream for our entertainment. And let's see here real quick. We had Hayfield Bay in 15th, Core Ride in 16th, Neaterific in 17th, Share in 18th, Akidrist in 19th, and Etium in 20th. And I also went to check and see what else we have on Speed Gaming for you today. There is, of course, as usual, going to be the 9 p.m. Daily race, which is going to be a retro open seed. So if you want to see some Zelda 1 inspired action, where shooting the bow costs money, and you can find a sword in a cave, and keys are distributed across everywhere, go there, check that out. That's pretty fun. We're also going to have a whole, of course, ESA is going on over on.
I believe it's the
language restreams, yeah.
The Dutch, French, Spanish, and I'm sorry if I'm missing one of the languages.
I'm not sure if Portuguese. I know we have a Portuguese one, but I'm not sure if they are doing the ESA restream.
Well, it looks like we have German, Spanish, and French.
Yeah.
That are being at least shown on the schedule. Might be able to catch a little bit of the Super Mario Brothers 3 randomizer race going on right now on Speed Gaming 2.
And over on Speed Gaming 4, we just started like 10 minutes ago a Portal Inbounds to SLA tournament race, if you're interested in that. And over on Speed Gaming 1, or just Speed Gaming really, we have a Kirby's Dream Land tournament coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern. And more SMB3 randomizer, some Ocarina of Time randomizer at 7 p.m. on Speed Gaming 2 and 3 respectively. So if you're interested in those, make sure to check those out.
Yeah, another thing that I want to mention is at 8 o'clock on Speed Gaming, we'll have the Magic the Gathering Arena. While not necessarily a speed gaming effort, a fun endeavor nonetheless.
Right. Yeah, and more Portal 2 as well at 8 p.m. on Sweet Gaming 5. So lots of stuff to watch today on the Sweet Gaming Network. So make sure to check those out, as well as if you speak Spanish, French, or German. Check those out. The Speak Gaming Deutsch, Speak Gaming Francais, and Speak Gaming Espanol. And from us here, yeah, I think that's about all. Thank you again, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, have a good day, everybody.